unfortunately, we don't have a title right now. When this comes up, I'll figure something out. But just know, hopefully, it's very catchy. But yeah.
I said growing apart to grow together. We'll see if that sticks. But
I said what's wrong with you.
That was good. Y'all like that? Growing apart to grow together? Period.
That's it.
Hey, you got outvoted. That's 3 to 4.
3 to 4.
I'll be down for you forever. We gon' always be together. Down for any kind of weather. We going higher than the ceiling. You and me is all I need, yeah. Keep on rocking to the beat, yeah.
Well, hi guys.
Hey.
Hello.
What's going on? I guess.
So
Get myself adjusted again.
get yourself adjusted.
Let's do it.
Okay. So this season, I don't know when this episode is coming out, but we've tried to bring in some friends this season.
Yes.
So this is our second time bringing in somebody. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
So who we have here today, Snookums?
Today you guys have heard of them a couple of times. Whenever I'm in pain and don't feel like doing nothing, the first person it going, my man Terrence. Second, the lovely, his better half.
Thank
Aubrey.
you.
I like that. That's cute.
Like that? Like what I'm doing there?
Better half.
You guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves to the people?
Ladies first.
My name's Aubrey. I am 30 years old, originally from New Jersey. Moved out to Cali in 2020. Best decision I ever made.
Yes.
Married to my best friend, working for myself, living life free.
Yes.
Can't complain.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
No, retweet. I mean, same thing.
Same thing, same story.
30, not a woman, not from Jersey. I'm playing. No, 30 from Maryland. Actually, knew Skylar
Way back when?
little youngins back in the back in the little young days, and then
They had good lunches at their schools.
We did.
Well,
No plastic trays.
I did. I don't know
yeah,
about you.
First off, yeah, Landon had like a college level
Yeah,
cafeteria.
yeah.
So I will give
Shout
props
out to
Landon for
Holton.
food. Shout out, Shout out Landon. Yeah.
Shout out to Landon and Holton.
We'll give Landon a shout out. But yeah, no, from DC, 30 as well. Also an entrepreneur. Working for myself for 9 years now. So
Yeah. And so the people, even though we've told them if y'all pay attention to videos, if not, this is the problem now. What do you guys do as entrepreneurs? What businesses are you guys in?
Yeah, so we do very similar things, kind of run parallel. He majored in leadership. I majored in psychology. So we took those passions that we had and applied it to other passions like fitness and nutrition. And I work with just women. He works with women and men. Just working to help people better their lives, their habits, their mindsets, their relationships with themselves, their relationships with others.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
yeah.
And speaking of like how we met, so like Terrence said, we knew each other when we were younger. But we weren't really like friends. So,
Yeah,
but
we
we
knew
like
each
knew
other.
each
They walk
other.
past, I might give you a head
Right,
nod.
be like, what's up?
That was about
I
it.
think so. You were at an all-girls school, and then you were at the all-boys
Right,
school.
so he was at the
That's what it
brother
was?
school,
Okay,
yeah.
right.
But then as we got older, I don't know, you know how you're just friends with people on Instagram from when you're younger. So I hit him up because I saw one of the things he posted about, training. And so then we started that relationship. We both started coaching with Terrence. Me, I had some back issues, so I had to pull out, but Omar staying strong. And then they moved to Cali first, and we came and visited. And
A couple of
voila.
times, and then it was a great vibe. That one time, where did we go, y'all? Was it
Corona del
Mar.
Corona del Mar is beautiful.
That is a very
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful beach. We also went to True Food. Yeah.
I love True
Healthy,
Food.
Oh, that's
healthy
when we had the
food
little
eating out.
interview with,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah. I
Yeah.
love, since that day, I love True Food. I've taken my mom. I've taken you
Yeah, we went a
multiple
couple of times. Yeah.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
did that. Ended up moving here. Funny enough, ended up living in the same building. We didn't know. We knew before we moved, but it wasn't until like 6 months before we moved that we realized we were gonna be in the same building. Moved, and then we kept our thing going. Me and Terrence in the gym every day together. You know what I'm saying? Trying to
Bromance.
Getting that work
shit together. You
Getting
know?
strong.
Yeah, man. And that's how it goes.
Yep.
That's all she wrote.
Well, the reason why we wanted to bring them in today is because, we've talked about Omar and I have been together 10 years, which is wild. And then you guys have been together, how many years is it
9.
now? 9 years. And so both of us, we met our significant others in college. And so I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was actually saying how, when I was younger, I used to be like, oh my God, like, I want to find my prince. I was really into like Disney princess movies, and I'll talk more about that when I'm talking through like my struggles and journey. But I was just saying, like, when you think about that, or if you're a young girl like me and you're like, oh my God, I really want love, you don't think or know about all the things that go with it. Like when you meet somebody young, there's a whole journey you have to go through because you grow with that person essentially, right? So today we're talking about what that looks like and the things we as individuals had to go through to make sure that we were good and our relationships were good, and the struggles that come with that. I mean, it's the struggle.
I would have a good title for you guys, but as I was coming up with them to tell her what the options were, she started talking. She just be talking sometimes, and I forgot what the title was going to be. So unfortunately, we don't have a title right now. When this comes up, I'll figure something out, but just know hopefully it's very catchy. But yeah.
I said growing apart to grow together. We'll see if that sticks. But
I
anyway.
said what's wrong with you.
That was good. Y'all like that? Growing apart to grow together? Period.
That's it.
Hey, you got outvoted. That's 3
That's
to
it.
4.
3 to 4. All right, maybe we'll do the
Growing
video.
apart
That's
to
3 out of
grow
4.
together.
I have 100% creative control, so we'll see what happens with that.
We know who has control. But anyways, okay. So to get started, I'll just talk through. For me personally, and I feel like I've talked about this a lot, especially on Instagram and stuff like this, but I was telling Omar this morning, the biggest thing for me has been I always felt like when I was young, I needed somebody to save me. And so going into a relationship, when I met Omar in college, it was a very dark time for me. Like I was depressed, I had anxiety, dealing with my dad. Like literally when I met him, we were living at my aunt's, and it was just not I don't want to say not stable, but it was just not a good time at that time. My dad was sick. He was going into rehab, all these things. So I met him not at my greatest. So me not even understanding all of the healing that I had to do. So, through these years, that's been the hardest thing because I was looking for someone to save me. So I needed him to fill that role. And as I've grown, I've had to learn, although he does have a role to play, I have a role to play. Like I have to heal these things that have been like really deep inside of me for a long time. So I think that's like come out in a lot of ways, and that's been the greatest struggle for me in our relationship. And as I grow and I heal, I just learn more about myself, and it just makes us better. And the struggles and the fights that we've had, it just brings more understanding between each other. So I think that's definitely been my greatest struggle, just figuring out how do I take on my own stuff and not look to him to heal me. Mm-hmm. So that's been a long journey.
So what do you think you do to help combat that, to fix that or straighten that up?
I think for me, one, I'm the type of person where I'm always like, what can I do, or what do I need to do to heal, or what's going on? I'm very intuitive about myself. So that's where it started. Like, that's not something I looked for. That's just already in me. And so because of that, I've looked for resources. So I've been like, what do I need to do? Who do I need to see? So therapy is a big thing for me. But yeah, I think for me, what I've done is I've dug deep, and it's been really hard, and I've had to face things about myself, right? Because I see the problems that I cause. Calm down. And
I'll highlight some examples if you want me to. But no, go ahead.
We'll be the mediators.
right.
Turn into a different episode.
Right. But no, I had to dig deep. I feel like that's like what I have to dig deep, and I just have to face fears and things about myself that I haven't faced before. And so growing on my own allows us to grow together. Also, there's still, when I'm growing on my own, I'm finding new things that I like and that I want that maybe don't align with you. So sometimes we have to work through that too, but we can. So I don't know if you guys relate at all to that, but what are some of the things that you guys have struggled with being together for so long?
I'm very parallel to you and a lot of the lessons you've learned and struggles you've had.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that Terrence has taught me, probably unknowingly, is how to love myself. And now a lot of those lessons and resources and things that I've gotten to help myself have been external of him, but he was the first example in my life of independence. And it was something that was so a part of who he was, and it was so foreign to me because I was a people pleaser. I was the youngest child. I saw my siblings get in trouble. I didn't want to get in trouble.
Right.
I was a good girl. I was focused on sports. I didn't go to parties. And so I lived a lot of my life in fear. And fear of disappointing my parents, fear of making bad decisions, whatever. And so seeing his strength and his independence and seeing, oh, wow, like you can do what you want to do. And it's like the consequences are yours. And it's like you either learn from it or you win from it. Like, wow. And, that was a big lesson for me and something that I had to practice, build up courage, having conversations to people to set boundaries or to say, no, I don't want to do that. Or no, that's not who I am. Actually, I want to do this thing that you may not align with, but it's important to me. So I have to follow my heart. And it's like, he's always been someone that through that process of growth has just been steady by my side. And so I really appreciated that about him.
That's good.
Yeah.
Your turn.
No, I mean, to kind of parallel off of what she said, like, I have always taken pride in, it started off as kind of like a, trauma response to parents. I was a middle child, very much a rebel, very much intentionally, like, wanting to do shit to get in trouble, for attention at that age. But as I got grew older, I mean, it kind of stuck with, being an entrepreneur and doing things the way that I want to do them, right? So I feel like my growth opportunity has been learning how to make decisions for two versus just for myself, because I've always been so gung-ho on, like, nah, I'm doing what the fuck. No.
Yeah. No, you good. You good.
Oh, yeah,
we say what we want on here.
They said it's real talk.
Real talk. TV 14 or just TV?
No, we ain't getting TVMA. That's after hours. But no, we TV 14 too. You
So
good,
I
you
can
good,
talk
you
normal.
good. Yeah, say whatever you
All
want.
right.
Yeah, just don't say the B word. Say.
Oh,
you
nah,
can't say
nah,
bald.
nah.
You gotta say like. Follically challenged. You know what I'm saying? That's
Follically challenged? I
Follically
like that.
challenged. Yeah, everything else you can say whatever you want to say.
Everything else
Yeah,
cool?
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
But yeah, making decisions for two and not one, because I was always so gung-ho and like doing what I want to do. I mean, it's my life and my decisions, and I'm very like, I got free will tattooed across my stomach.
Nice.
So obviously in a relationship that doesn't necessarily pertain to like a healthy relationship. If you're always making decisions for yourself. So learning how to make decisions with her in mind has been an ongoing process.
So when you guys were younger, because obviously you're evolved now, but when you were younger, what did that look like? Because I feel like we kind of have the same thing. Like, he's independent. I was not, and I'm still working on my independence. But for me, we would get in a lot of arguments and not understand each other when we were younger, because I'm like, hey, like, I'm one of those people, especially back in the day, where like I felt like everything I needed to do he needed to be there. Like, I need to share every experience, and I didn't understand like his need to not always share every experience. And so for me, I internalized it as he doesn't love me, or like he doesn't care about me enough. And I'm learning that's not true. We actually literally this morning
Talked about it this morning.
got into the, but because it still comes from the past, so I'm still healing that. But that's what it looked like for us when we were younger, because I had these things I wasn't dealing with, and then he's just independent and he has whatever growth that he'll talk about. But for us, it caused a big struggle, like a big tug of war, where we were like talking like this, and we weren't meeting in the middle and understanding where it was coming from and what that person actually needed for themselves. So just curious, like, what that looks like for you.
Girl is a mess.
Yeah.
Like, no, but I always say we have two relationships.
Yeah.
We had the first one, and then we had the second
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
Because there was a little break in between. And that break was the start of our growth, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, I think from my perspective, he was that independent rebel football player, focused. And again, I was like people pleaser, and lost my train of thought.
That's all right.
Pause.
It happens to me
Back.
too.
Like, because I was a people pleaser, I never went on that journey at that young age to discover who I am and trust myself and know what I like and know what I want. So in the relationship, it became an issue because I attached to him for my happiness. And when it was like I followed his dreams, I didn't have my own. And it was like, I just want to be with this person. I love this person. But it's like, but Aubrey, who are you without this person?
Yes.
And I didn't know. And like, even coming before that, like in high school, I was in a mentally, verbally abusive relationship. Early in college, I just had toxic interactions with men, looking for validation and things like that. So, from my end, like my insecurities and my fears, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of unworthiness, like all those things definitely were very loud. And from my perspective, I think it put a lot of weight on him as a partner, because it's like, it's not his job to make me happy. It's my job, right? He can add value and add happiness to my life and vice versa, but I need to know who I am and how to make myself happy first. And yeah, that was the hard lesson in the first relationship. What do you think?
What's the question?
I mean, I don't know. Were you paying attention?
Do I think about
or-
everything you just said?
How was it? Let me
Everything
try to rewind. Hold on.
Just went over like a 5-year span.
Oh
Like, what do you think? I'm like, about what?
Nah, so like, how did the struggle that you had for yourself?
Man, I'm
how did that
sure then, I don't know.
impact you guys as y'all was like coming up and into it? Or
No,
even
I mean,
now?
I agree with 100% what she said in terms of like we describe our relationship in two pieces, like relationship 1 and relationship 2. And in terms of how I existed in the relationship, I was still like, again, when you're young, I mean, you be making just, very selfish decisions, right?
Yeah.
So certainly was making selfish decisions, right, in our young relationship, and not communicating, and just being like, this is what I want to do, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's like as a young 23, 24, you're not thinking about like marriage and kids, and obviously now as a 30-year-old man, it's very different. So certainly it's nice to be on this end of it, versus you young and just being a dumbass.
No,
nigga.
right, exactly. Young Thundercat.
Young Thundercat.
Going
Yeah.
around doing stuff.
Well, I was sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for Aubrey. So, for example, Aubrey posted. She was like at the beach by herself the other day, and so I just find it like, first of all, beautiful to see, like, because what she's saying is like what she lives. Like, she really did take the time. I'm not trying to speak for you, but I feel she's really taking the time to find who she is, and like I think it's a beautiful thing that you can go places alone. And so like, it's just like the journey never ends. I feel like that's what I see from that, because even for me, I've done so much work, but we're still in a phase of getting past like our younger phase, like for example, for me, I keep telling Omar, I need to start doing things on my own because I still feel like attached to him, so it's like not like in the past, but that's still a thing. And that's why I came up this morning, because I'm like feeling that the need that, oh no, you have to come if I'm going here, but that's not the case. And for him, I still put like a lot of that on him. Like how you said about that was a really good way to say it. So although it's not the same, it's still there. So it's just like, these are things that you don't think about when you are with somebody for so long, like when you go into it being young, so just, it doesn't stop. I guess my point is that it doesn't stop, and it's okay, right? Like, this is a part of our journey, and there's things that he has to grow into, but it just never ends. Like, you're always going into a new phase, and it's a beautiful thing, but it's also a hard thing, and people don't talk about it enough, So
it's a wild journey.
Yeah.
It's a wild journey. Like, even Terrence he said many times that there's been so many different versions of me.
Yeah.
And there's going to be infinite versions of me until I die, because that's who I am. It's like I continue to evolve and find out things I like or things I don't like. And even with me going to the beach alone, it's so funny. Like, now my independent time is something I need. And I know he needs it and has always needed it. So I think something that helps our relationship thrive is that we have that mutual respect for each other, to give each other that space. Because at the end of the day, we are individuals first.
Yeah.
And it's like the happier and stronger and better that individual is, the better that they're going to bring to the relationship. Now, on the other flip side, something I've, especially in my first relationship, did to cope was run. So if it's uncomfortable, or there's a hard conversation, or I feel a negative emotion or whatever, it's like I haven't always faced it. Right, I run, and so that alone time, it's a slippery slope, because it's like, well, now are you running to alone time? Because then I'm like, okay, I've been alone a lot. I haven't had any quality time with him. So it's like having to be very self-aware, like you said, the journey's always, but just being aware of like, where are you, how are you feeling, what are you thinking, are your needs being met by yourself first? And are your needs being met by your partner? And are you communicating your needs to your partner? And communicating in a way that they can understand it and receive it.
And that's the part. I mean, if you guys haven't watched season 1, go back, because we talk about communication. It is like, I know it can be annoying. Well, it might be annoying if you hear somebody say communication all the time, but that is literally key. If you're broken, we talked about, like, I might say in the car, I was like, Omar, you're screaming in my ear. And then he took it as, and this isn't serious, but he heard it as, me telling him what to do. So it's just a small example of, we say something and somebody might not hear it that way, but you have to heal in order to meet somebody and understand somebody. So yeah, that's so true. Yeah. I cut you off earlier though. So.
I mean, I'm used to it. You know what I'm saying? I can't have it all. Anyway, not anyway. But so one of my challenges, and I mean, I think everybody in here probably can speak to it, because I'm sure I had a conversation with you 20 at some point that rectifies, or not rectifies this, but symbolizes or shows this, is one of my things is I feel like I'm being told that I'm doing something wrong, I guess. And so when it might just be, not that I can't take constructive criticism, so I can, like, hey, you should probably do this thing that way, or boom, 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 boom. Like, okay, like, obviously, like, that's logic and it makes sense. But there are times when I feel like I'm being told I'm doing something wrong. And it's funny enough, originally when we were talking about what we were going to talk about this episode, I didn't exactly know what my example was going to be, but me and Terrence was working out one morning, and I was talking about, I forget what I...
I know what you're talking about. Just recently?
Yeah, what were we talking about that brought it up?
Fuck. Damn, I'm mad right now. I know exactly. This happened like very recently.
Yeah, this was
4
like
weeks ago.
this was
2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, like a week or two or something like that. I forgot
Someone
what we were talking
had.
about.
Damn. Hold on, pause.
Okay.
Damn. What the fuck was that? Nah, real talk. I know exactly what you're talking about. I asked you. I was like, does that come from?
Yes, I was gonna get to that. But what we were talking about that
Hold
made
on, alright.
that come up? Was
Let's
it,
backtrack. You said
Was
I
it
said
you or
does
was
it
it
come
work?
from-
It was work. I got it now.
The
It
work
was
shit. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Boom.
Oh, I think I know.
We're back. Okay. So,
Hi, I'm Doug. I'm mesothelioma. Commercial work.
so we were working out one morning, and I was bringing up how I had a customer who this was violent. I ain't gonna hold you, but point is, we had to deal with that issue, and like one of my frustrations with it was that she was making it, not even making it seem. She said that I did something that I just did not do, and like even now thinking about it, like it kind of like it's aggravating. Like, don't say I did something or that I'm saying something or doing something that I did not do. And so we were working out, and I was talking about it, and he had asked me, he was like, "What does that sound like, or what does that remind you of?" And I was like, I took a second back. I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, I saw where he was going with it, and so I was like, oh shit, like he's right. There have been instances in my life when I'm been accused of like, or said that I'm doing something that I haven't. So one instance is, which I will talk about at some point, I've mentioned a few times, we're going to talk about in an episode, I'm going to bring that up. That was one instance. The second instance is with her. All Sky's doing is telling me that she needs this in a relationship, or like I make her feel this way. Like if she goes in for a hug and like I push her away, I'm like, all right, let's sit like for those 2 seconds, like get off me. She's not telling me that I'm doing something wrong, more so that she's feeling unloved or whatever. And obviously you don't want your partner to feel unloved, but in hearing that, I feel like you're telling me like I'm not enough for you, I'm not doing enough for you, and taking it a different way. My friends, you guys seen that one episode where I went on a rant and cut some things out, and will always reference with certain things. I had a very serious point, a critical point in my life for our wedding when I needed support. I was accused of doing something that, as I said, then I'm gonna say again now, I 100% did not do, and it was just what's the word I'm thinking of? Exaggerated, and some other stuff that again I'm not going to get into. And even with that still ties in how I even handle things with that group now, because again my biggest thing is don't tell me I did something I didn't do. And so that's a struggle for us, because she's just trying to say, hey, this is like what I need for you, like what I can help her with, or stuff like that. She might need a simple touch like that, or a little smooch on her little cheeky and stuff like that, that's all she needs, just like a little slight stuff. And I'm like, so you're saying that I don't love you and I don't care about you, or as this conversation this morning, I don't support you, and like I can take constructive criticism, again, as I said before, but when I hear certain things like that, it hits me, and just makes me feel like defeated, or like I'm not doing enough. And like we've been talk I'll talk about all the things that I am doing for any goal I've had, or something in our relationship, or whatever the thing is. But once you say something like that, I feel like you're saying what I'm doing is not enough, or all those things don't matter, and it's led to some arguments and some frustrating topics.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one of the it's clearly a trigger, like something there's a
Even
type
now,
of
I'm getting a little
trauma.
irritated, like thinking.
Yeah.
You can hear it in your voice. I mean, you sitting
Yeah.
up, your energy is all. Yeah.
It's a type of trauma. So even now talking about it, he's done self work to like think through like why things make him feel a certain way or whatever. But think about from back in the day, like when we were younger, that was a big thing. Like we could not communicate. So that's just another example of when you're unhealed, or you have these traumas and you don't understand where it's coming from, how big of an impact it can have throughout your years. So now we have all this baggage, I'm gonna call it baggage, but baggage that ties into when we fight about it now, because we remember it. So, people don't think about these things, but
Yeah, no facts. I mean, the reason I brought it up in the gym is because, again, like you talk about communication. Communication is a two-way street, right? It's like what you're saying, but also how it's being received.
Yeah.
And for you, I mean, we all have, like, you're obviously experiencing life through Omar's body, like Aubrey, Skylar, Terrence. Like, we see the world a certain way based off of past experiences. So, like, if to this point, I've had these traumatic experiences where people have told me that I was doing something wrong. If someone says something that you interpret as I'm doing something wrong, you snap on them. In all reality, they may come to you like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I was just trying to bring up an issue I'm having, right? So it is a two-way street, and the important piece about communication, especially if you have a loving relationship, is to communicate about those things, the past traumas, how they impact you, and then you, as the person that's experiencing the trauma, when it comes up, realizing, pause, this isn't my partner, this is something I've experienced before. That's where it's coming from. Like, take a deep breath.
Ooh, that. Yes.
100%. No, 100%. And it's like, that's part of like the tools I'm trying to use, like to, when I'm going through these type of things, like, all right, I know she's not saying this, but even like today, I was like, so what are you trying to say? Whatever. Funny enough, I'm actively working on it, but obviously maybe no one's probably gonna like slip sometimes,
Sure.
but it's trying to use those tools like, all right, here's what she's actually saying. And rather than trying to create words for what her or even anybody else is saying, what's actually going on. She's not saying that I'm not enough for her. she is saying she's feeling like unloved or whatever. And one thing like we learned in therapy is like putting yourself in like somebody else's shoes. How would I feel, or what would I be thinking if I'm feeling someone did this thing to me and I do feel unloved, like they don't care about me? All right, that shit's gonna suck. And so using that like going forward, okay, hey, I can start doing this or stop doing that, or like try to find like some type of compromise.
Took 10 years to get that. Yep.
It ain't take 10 years. It's always
Not 10, maybe like.
It ain't take no years. We just did what we did, and you accept it. If not, you don't. But that's pretty much where we're at. So.
Well, I do have a question. So you guys have your relationship 1 and 2, and then you said you had your break in between. So what did you do in between to make 2 better?
If anything at all.
If any, I would assume, because I just knowing them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak for myself. Like, the relationship ended. It was his decision. I didn't really see it coming. Again, I think also part of me was in denial. Like, I knew that there were issues, but I think I just thought this relationship's never going to end.
Yeah.
But it did. And it forced me into growth that I didn't know I needed. And I think the same for him. And, at the beginning of breakups, it's rough and, you kind of resent each other. There's attitude or whatever. But as I started to be on my own for the first time, and I got a life coach, I got a nutrition coach, I started taking the gym more seriously. I got self-help books. I made a vision board in my room. I had positive signs all over my room, like, you are fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
On the mirror and shit.
Yeah.
There's like a post-it right out like by the light switch when you leave the room. It said eyes forward.
Yeah.
Like, don't look back, look forward.
Nice.
And it's just constant reminders, because I would cry myself to sleep, So I was like, I needed to create an environment that was separating me from what I thought I was going to have as a life, and figure out, okay, who are you now? Yeah. And again, like, I had no intention that we would ever get back together. I thought he was gone forever. He can share his perspective if it's different, but it was honestly in my healing and coming to peace with the fact that I'm not going to have him in my life anymore is what brought us back. It's like truly when I finally truly let go, he felt it. Because all the other times, you're like, stop talking to me.
Yep.
We got to stop, coming in and coming out. Like, and it's like, but you don't stop. It's like, there's a draw. And we had that the whole time. It's like something kept drawing us back, but it was painful because we weren't committing to each other. So eventually, like, for me, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it hurts too bad. So I love you. I will always love you. But let's just stop talking. And you can take it from here.
Why you can't hand that baton off at the worst? God,
Your time.
I mean,
no, I mean, I think that for me was just the opportunity to build perspective, because again, like, wanting independence in a young relationship, that was like becoming way more serious than I thought. Like, we came straight out of college and moved in together like a year in, and like we lived together for 3 years. I'm like, wait, am I fucking married?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? I'm 23 years old. Like, I don't even know how, I'm saying, pay my fucking taxes and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the
I'm
scary
trying to
part
figure
was
it
like, I thought I was ready to get married at that point.
out. Oh my God.
But
If
it
we
was
got married then, we for sure got divorced.
Exactly.
No question.
But it's
No
like, it
question.
was just my fear of being alone that made me stay.
Yeah.
Because I, deep down in my soul, I knew, like, this doesn't feel good, this relationship right now, based on where we're at in our growth. So.
Yeah, not facts. And it's like then being able to remove myself and then now finally be independent. Because again, it's like I grew up living with my parents, as most people do. Then went to college. Then moved back home for a year. Then we moved in together, got our own spot for 3 years. It's like I had never lived on my own. So being able to be on my own, be independent, be like able to truly finally be in that space where I can do whatever I want. And like, those good things I did, bad things I did. I mean, as anybody. And I grew through from both of them. But having that freedom gave me a lot of perspective to what I wanted actually in a relationship. So that's my side.
And what is it that you realized you want in a relationship at that time?
I mean, partnership, really. I mean, we ain't taking this in a whole other direction. We gonna
No.
swing it back to where we at. But like, I think that like right nowadays, there's a lot of like views on relationships in terms of what it should be. And I think my view is very different than most people. Like a lot of people, I feel like there's like the tug of war of like the like new age man that wants it to be a certain way. And then like, there's women that like the more traditional relationship. They want to be taken care of. Like me personally, like I don't want to take care of nobody. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I want to be in a joint space where we're growing and pushing together. Like the way that we do our life is so different. Like even our finance, we're both business owners. Like we have some joint things, but the majority of our finances are separate. And like they're independent in our own. And we trust each other and we work together, right? And it's like for some people that wouldn't work, right? Some people want to, in my mind, like be taken care of. Where like I'm not doing that shit. Like I would rather just be single and be on my own and take care of my damn self, right? It's like I want to grow and build an empire with somebody. So. That's what I wanted, and that's who she is. So, I mean, it was pretty seamless.
Right, yeah. No, I feel like, this is something else that we learned in our marriage counseling, and for anyone who's unaware, because it's different than couples counseling, as you're preparing to get married, you may, like, get with somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't thinking you were talking about that, so yeah. Go.
So you see what I'm saying? That's why I got to lay out the details and the differences, right? One thing you learned is, or they had told us, and we both definitely, like, think about that to this day, or practice that to this day, is it don't matter like what you decide to do in your relationship as long as y'all decide to do it together. And you might have different views, but if y'all decide it's going to be that way,
what works for you?
Yeah, exactly. Like we say, it's what works for you. So that's what y'all did. It don't matter if somebody else's view is different. Like they ain't y'all, they ain't us. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Everybody do their joint different. So.
And it changes. Like hearing you guys, and for us, like you guys had a relationship one where I'm sure you were envisioning maybe a different type of relationship, and maybe you were too, and then you have relationship 2 where you guys were like, this is what we want, and I feel like we don't have relationship 1 and 2, but through the whole time, because we've definitely had periods where we were like, do we break up? But it's changed for us too. Like, so that's, when you're younger, like I envisioned something and he probably envisioned something else, and it's just changed. And finally we're kind of on the same page, but that's a thing too. Like sometimes you come into something and you aren't realizing that you're seeing the relationship differently or want different things. So I think it's amazing that you guys took the time.
A good. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I real quick, I was gonna clarify. And when I say taking care of, like that's the difference. Is like when we're a partnership, it's like now you want to take care of your partner,
right.
Like versus it being like this obligation or like a
transaction.
Yeah, it was a transactional relationship where it's like, hey, like, because I mean, again, there's plenty of dudes just taking care of like they take care of everything. And that's traditional. It's fine. It's just not what I want because it's like. I'd rather just be on my own and do that shit by myself. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I want to be with somebody on a partnership where, again, the taking care of is more out of love. And it's like, I want to treat you. I want to take you here. It's like now because we've been grinding and building together. I mean, that's what, between the two of us, we own, 4 businesses between the two of us. And it's like we work together and integrate. So, shit.
He owns 3 of those, okay?
Whatever.
Go ahead, sugar daddy.
but she helps me tremendously in 3.
Yes, I do.
So everything's integrated. Everything's integrated, and it's like that's what I want in a relationship. To me, that's what partnership is. Now that's where like that plus the best friendship plus the love. Like that's what I want versus just like a transactional relationship where I'm taking care of somebody. Where I know again with my personality, it's just like it's not gonna work. It's not gonna be a healthy relationship.
Something that's cool, like, so 2021, he was playing football like away for a couple months, and a lot of our relationship was long distance, so it's like it's no issue for us. We make it work. And plus, he was only like an hour and a half away or whatever. But, or were you in Arizona?
No.
Okay, whatever.
He was away.
But, like, it was, like, the end of his season. And, like, that whole season, honestly, like, in those seasons of life where he went away for football, I had so much growth. Like, way more. I mean, I'm still growing when he's here. But way more without him here. Because it's just, like, time focused on me. And it's just, like, I was having calls to my life coach 4 or 5 times a week. It's just like constantly meditating and healing my past and sexual trauma and relationships from the past and things like that. And then when he was in football season, like he was going through football season, right? It's like injuries and team bullshit and politics and games and all of that stuff. And so he was in a very different spot for several months. And so it felt kind of like we were growing apart. Not in a way of like we don't want to be together anymore. Of course we did, but it's just like we're not aligned right now. I remember one time I went to see him for a game, and he wanted to come back for the weekend, and he had come back a couple weekends already, and I was also struggling personally with my own life, and so he wanted to like come back to the apartment that weekend, and he was in a really tough mental space. And so was I. And I was like, I can't like have you come this weekend. And it shit was emotional, dude, because it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I know.
It's like, it was emotional because it's like, what he needs is exactly opposite of what I need right now. So like, who wins?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I could sacrifice my needs to then help you. but then I'm struggling. And so it's like, how can I be my best self? And he said that night, it was emotional, and he didn't end up coming back that weekend, but he was like, sometimes what you need and what I need are not going to be the same thing. And so that was just one example, but like, that was like a rough season, right? And so the day before he was coming back to move back here, we had a phone call, and it was an emotional phone call. I was like, I said those things. Like, I feel like we grew apart. Like, I feel like my interests are changing. I feel like I'm growing, and I don't feel like you're where I'm at. And it's just like, what do we do, you know? And the next day he drove back, and I said, before you come home, let's just meet at the beach. Let's just go to a neutral location. Let's just like connect before you even walk into our house. So we met there, and we just reconnected, and it was obviously like, you ain't skip a beat, right? Like, all the issues are gone. My honey's home. Like, it's just like, hey baby, like, where you been? And before I had left for that beach, I had a yellow Post-it note, and I put it on his desk, and I drew a V, and then I drew, the mic is in the way. I'm trying to show the audience here. I drew a V, straight lines, and then I drew dotted lines connecting that. And at the top, I put a heart. And if you look at it, it looks like a diamond. Okay. Well, that day, he proposed.
Period.
Before I started posting, no, too. No, at the beach.
Yeah, he hadn't come home, so he hadn't seen that, and I just put it there to like say like, we're gonna go back together. Like, we're on this journey. Like, no matter how many times we grow apart. Like, we've been together 9 years. We've known each other since we're 18. Like, we've been through already so many ups and downs and life lessons. But it was just really cool, because I think for him, he was like, obviously when you propose, you want to feel like this is the moment, this is the girl. I'm absolutely sure. There's not a doubt in my mind, right? And so yeah, just like was the energy of that moment, and he, I think, unexpectedly proposed.
Yeah, it was a surprise.
In the middle of a street.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, because I mean, I had bought the ring in Arizona, and at first, like, she was like, again, we were very disconnected, and she was like, I mean, pissing me off. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I ain't going to the fucking beach. I was like, I'm coming home. She said, no, let's go to the beach. Let's still meet up there. So I was like, all right, cool. So I left the ring, like, I mean, all my shit is in my car. Yeah. And again, we reconnected whatever at the beach, and I was like, damn, like, this is a moment. And I made up some shit. I was like, I have to change my shoes or something, like, before we get food. And I get the ring. The ring box was too big to fit in my pocket, so I had to take it out and then put it in my pocket. And then I was like, hey, babe, come out of the car real quick. And then her stubborn ass was like, no.
I was like, why would I get out of the car? Just get in the car. Let's just go get food. Like, get in the car. I'm not getting out.
Like, bro, like, I literally would have reached over, like, under her seatbelt, opened the door. I said, bro, get out of the car. And then I proposed to her in the middle of the street. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
No, that's cute. Why is it so so many things I'm going to comment on.
No, seriously. That was
but
so
even
beautiful.
like for our proposal thing or whatever. So like I proposed to her, and I was trying to make it like natural, whatever, like trying not to make it obvious. She didn't believe the ring was real.
Oh yeah.
She like, wait, hold on. It's like I was like in my head, so she probably been pissing me off. I was like, all right, come on, son, like that.
Don't
like,
play me, bro.
You, like, you don't think this is serious? Like, what is wrong with you? So just to comment like,
it's always gonna be some shit. Bro.
Right.
No, but I feel like I can relate to the story. I mean, ours was different, but like, first of all, you said it so beautifully, because just like the symbolism of the dots, and I think it just, not only that moment for you guys, but it symbolizes like relationships if you're with your person. Like, you're not always going to align, and we deal with that now. Sometimes I'm growing and on this way, and he's this way, and that is life, because like you said, we're going to have a million versions of ourselves. Crap, but I forgot. Oh, but no, I sometimes I think about this, but I love how you worded that, because when he proposed, like, it took a long time. I mean, we met in college, so like he proposed year 8, 7, whatever. But like it didn't always feel like a right time, and when you proposed, like that moment felt good. But I felt like sometimes we would have, or we always knew we were going to get married, but it just always wasn't right. Like, I was trying to figure out myself. He was doing whatever he was doing. And, and so just like hearing your story, it just reminds me, like, that's what a relationship is. Like, that is what it is. You are growing, and you're not always going to feel lovey-dovey or feel that you're connecting. And it doesn't mean that it's the end of a relationship, or it just means you figure it out. You spend time doing whatever you need to do to heal, or whatever you're doing in that season, and then you guys continue to try to do things to connect and get through it. And that's what I took from that. I thought that was really beautiful.
Obviously, everything that we've all said, I mean, we've all gone through something with ourselves and with each other that's impacted ourselves then, and obviously internally, and obviously impacted relationships. So what's how can I say this? What's a tip or a piece of advice you guys would give to somebody who may be going through something in their relationship internally with themselves that could be impacting it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, she's pointed to it a couple times talking about the infinite versions of yourself. But it's like, I see marriage as making a commitment to falling in love with each individual version of your partner. Because, she might be some new person at 80, you know what I'm saying? Like, I might be old as shit and tired. Be old as shit and tired, but it's like, you made that commitment. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, rediscover who that person is now. Like, she may want to move to, like, fucking Bali or something. I'm predicting it.
I will.
Fact. At some point, she want to move to like, Bali at, like, 70. And it's like, you got to, commit to it and support your partner.
Yeah.
And, shit, the way you be going, you know what I'm saying? It'd be easy. Get a quick little move. But, no, that's my advice. Is just, like, committing to falling in love with each new version of your partner.
Mine would definitely be never stop working on yourself, because you are the constant in your life, and you can't blame your partner for your shortcomings. So be willing to take ownership for your part, and just work on your self-awareness, and just always asking yourself, how can I show up better?
I'd literally say the same thing as Aubrey. I'd say continue always working on yourself, healing yourself, trying to understand yourself, because I feel like a lot of times we actually don't understand ourselves. So just continuing that journey, and that will lead to your own happiness. That'll lead to your happiness in your relationship and all things abundant.
I think I would say a mix of what all you guys said, and to kind of take some things from conversations we've had, like outside of this, that I've had each and every one of you would say, you got your person, you got yourself, and what are you willing to do to heal and maintain and grow yourself and then your relationship? Like, what is it you're trying to do? Hey, your person needs that one extra smooch a day. How much do you love them that you're going to do that? Or you need to take some time for yourself. And let's just say that means, all right, I have to do an extra 30 minutes of this thing or that. How bad do you want that thing that you're going to put that extra work in? So it's, what are you willing to do to make this work, to make it work? I think that'd be my piece of advice. Yeah.
Amen.
So we thought we'd just end with something real quick.
Yeah, make it a little like, not that it was like, but,
If you guys watched last
we
season,
can.
I forgot which episode, we'll plug it here, but we had our cards. And so we're just going to pick like 2 cards.
Okay, what was that?
So it's called Black Love. Obviously, you don't need to be black, white, Asian, light or yellow. It doesn't matter what it is.
Black love.
You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what it needs to be. That's just the name of the business. They have like we were going to get a different set, but we actually need to buy that, need to invest in that. So, as you guys remember from that very entertaining episode, these cards have a bunch of different questions.
Because we're entertaining.
We are not going to be answering every single one of these. Everyone's going to pick 2, and if we decide
No,
to skip,
everybody will pick 1.
oh, then everyone will pick 1. That's even better. And if we
So you
don't,
got to shuffle them jumps.
yeah, we don't want to answer
And
it. We're
skip,
not answering
just
it.
you don't like
That
it, go to
last
the
episode was a little annoying. I ain't
It was
gonna
some
hold
wild
you.
shit on there.
Well, there's
It could've
different
been.
categories. So like there's like, I forgot the category names, but like some are
So I'm
about
saying, where's
sex,
the
some are
wildest
about-
place you had sex at?
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
Yeah,
you
my
gotta
mama
tell me
watching.
Right.
Yeah, my parents watch this.
You gotta tell me what-
Nah, yeah, we ain't doing all that. So, all right, everybody
Okay.
take 1 card. I hope it's
Well, let me
something
make sure
that you like.
I
Okay,
gotta
that's a
take
good
that
one.
one.
No,
I say,
take
yeah,
it.
cut the deck, bro. Cut the
There
deck.
you go. Do I do it in blackjack? There you go.
Now everybody check to make sure it's one you're good with.
I hope so.
Wait, so we ask them
Yeah,
if
so how do you want to do it? How do you guys want to do it?
Hold on, let me read
Ask
mine.
everybody or just ask your
I guess it depends on what you. Mine is a self one, so I would
Yeah,
have
myself
to.
too.
mine says me and you.
Mine's the
So
self,
I guess you guys.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right,
Okay, mine is self, and it says, "What do you choose to ignore because it's too difficult to bear?" Dang, it's supposed to be
Ooh,
light
wow.
though.
Golly.
Without going too deep, I think what I choose to ignore. This is a hard one because I really like try to dig deep. I would say my mind tries to ignore pain, as in pain from seeing my dad sick growing up. So just to not, just if I'm going to throw something out there, it's not something I'm trying to ignore, but my mind tries to protect me. So it's something I'm trying to dig into now.
Okay.
You got a lot of selves.
Cool.
How you shuffling?
I mean, you know, what is the one rule you have for yourself that you will never break?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's good. I might get his game.
I'm telling you, I'm going to
It's
get
on
these
fire.
cards.
It's on fire.
There's another one that I'm going to get to. I'll send you guys a link.
Damn, Brody. You know,
It's your man code.
Nah, this one heavy.
well, now that I think, because there's like so many different things I can pull from, but if I gotta pick one thing, is just Bro, I can't even just pick one thing.
That's a hard one.
That's a good one.
To try to answer quickly.
Yeah. All right. Let me just pick something. I guess one thing that I'll never break is, I'll always try to communicate very efficiently, and I think that can cover a bunch of areas, whether it's like plans or my feelings. I think I will always.
You'll honor yourself by saying.
I always honor
okay.
myself and try to commit so that I communicate effectively, so I can avoid problems later. Even though when I try to do that, it still fucks up. But whatever.
We could go deep into that, but next.
I say these Johnson's whole episode.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, mine says, what do you wish you knew about me sooner?
Nothing like come to mind. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a great
But
question.
yeah. I'm about to say redraw because I mean we
redraw?
We don't live with regrets, okay?
Yeah, no bullshit. I mean I like that. Like, there's nothing that I mean.
Yeah, that is good.
That's
There's
the
nothing
homie, bro.
you-
I don't give a fuck. Man.
This is all about regret, past and future. Okay,
Dang, maybe it's meant to be for some reason.
nah.
She said, "Stop playing with me."
Universe saying face your past, Aubrey.
If you want to draw one more.
No. If you could travel back in time, what year would you pick and why?
Ooh.
I would travel back to 2011 before my coach died, and I would speak to him differently before he died. Because my last words were not the nicest. Yeah, man.
Talking about this card making shit light, nigga.
I know.
I
We
thought
should have
that
picked
was
like a
I
category.
don't know what happened.
I'm playing this.
Yeah, that shit was heavy, man.
Mine says, "What's the biggest challenge you're facing in your this nigga?"
Yeah, see?
Just like everyone just ignore it.
You gotta pick up a random card. Oh, that's a universal sign. Pick up the first
Pick up a
card
card.
you see and tell me what it says.
Y'all would not believe it.
What's it say?
It's the same card I picked up. What is the one rule you have for yourself that you
That
would never
means you
break?
need to
You get a second
Hey.
chance.
Go about it again.
Hey,
Nah.
now
Wow.
we gotta go to the casino.
Go to
That's
casino.
Oh my
crazy. You
God.
just said the universe.
What does that mean? What?
He thinks we need to gamble our money now.
Lord.
Blackjack table card.
Right,
No,
the
black.
blackjack table.
This is why our
actually
joints.
it's pretty
This is
fucking
why our
funny.
money
Yeah.
accounts are separate.
I mean, again,
Exactly.
Smart girl.
if I can say a second answer, I don't know. There were so many other options.
I feel like your mic is far, but it's over
it
now.
probably is, and this really is throwing me off that I picked this card up again. After
That's
all
wild,
those
bro.
So you
races,
should think on that.
That's wild. Yeah. Put that on your pocket.
Yeah,
I'll keep
I'll
that
take
one.
this
Maybe it's saying self-reflection.
We'll talk about it later.
I'll think about it later. What do I hold myself?
Why you putting your shirt?
I had to put it somewhere. Go ahead, though. What's your?
That shit not gonna fall out when you stand up.
Yeah, probably not. Hopefully not. What's your drink?
That is fucking hilarious, bro. I may put that shit there like it's gonna stick there forever.
It's there. You know.
That
You
is
don't have a
funny.
bra.
I'll text you.
Do you have a bra?
My pecs is coming in. I'm
Okay.
good. It's
My
staying
nigga.
right there.
Yeah, squeezing it up. You holding right there?
1 second squeeze at the top. But go ahead.
Right. This man.
We're doing it.
Oh my god. Nah. So what's the biggest challenge you're facing in you life? Whoever wrote this junk.
You forgot the R.
Right.
What's the biggest
Wait,
challenge you're
yours.
facing in
biggest
your
challenge
life?
I facing in life?
Yeah.
I would say balancing.
Yeah, keep
I'm
going
gonna,
with
give,
that
I'm
one.
gonna give a long answer,
Go.
but like as an entrepreneur, I feel like there is no like work schedule. You know what I mean? It's like you're doing what you're passionate about doing. Like think about some shit you love doing, right? Like gambling. You know what I'm saying? Like on betting on foot.
Yeah.
I got my man in sports gambling. We talk about
know.
sports betting every day. Hey, that's my shit. Imagine like that's your full time job. It's just like you're gonna do shit all day long. It's like all right, bet your job is to research shit that you like doing and play props and shit. It's like you would never stop doing it because you love it. So that's a trap you can fall into because it can become very, very, very suffocating. And I work. I mean, there'll be days where I'm like 4 or 5 days where I'm like all I'm doing is work out, work, and go to sleep.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not healthy. You know what I mean? So finding balance and stepping outside of what I do or what I'm working to create so that I have that longevity and don't burn out.
Yes.
True.
And making time for that marriage, right?
Period. That's
Yeah, and
that's
that's
it
what she
right
follows
there.
Yeah. I honestly think his card may be also a good way to sum up the episode.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
about balance. You know what I mean?
Balance.
Taking care of yourself so that you can be good for yourself and also, your relationship and your partner. Also, we all have our roles to play in our relationships, but with each other. But again, how are we gonna make this work? What do we gotta do? What do I gotta do? What can you potentially help me with? Depending, wash the dish or two, cuz.
I've been doing it.
Hey, she has been. I ain't gonna hold y'all. She been washing the dishes, boy. I've been chilling at night, going to sleep. But
All right.
again, it's that balance. I think
Yeah.
balance is a very good way to sum up things. Like, what can we do for ourselves so we can help each other?
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
Appreciate
Thanks
y'all
for having us.
That was fun.
You guys are our second and third guests. Maybe we'll have one more.
Yeah.
Probably. We'll see. But guys, that's the episode. As always, you can follow me
Peace.
at OVO
Oh, right.
XOMR. Yeah, I don't know.
Skylar Simone.
You can follow.
Yeah, at the Bride Trainer.
Oh, Fulham Fit.
Yes, sir. If you guys want some ways to change your life, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, other than watching this podcast, hit these guys up, and I'm telling
this
you, they
podcast
will
is-
help a lot. Regular conversations with Aubrey. Obviously, she doesn't train me or coach me, but had regular conversations. That something I even tell Terrence, like, Aubrey did put up this post. I was thinking about it. I was like, all right, I get it. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better. And then obviously, I'm with him every day working out, and the constant conversation that we've had now in the past, year and a half, 2 years, we've been working together.
You're welcome.
It's been. Scott did put me on. I ain't gonna hold you. At first, I was like, I know how to do a crunch. I don't even know how to tell
He
you
wasn't
how-
trying, being difficult.
But obviously, as you can see, still in it 2 years later.
You're
so
welcome.
that's where we at. Again, follow us at Snooks and Snuckums, and
Yes, please.
we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.